Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another video with me, Ben Rogashan, aka the Seattle Data Guy. Thanks so much for joining us. If you've noticed, we have a little bit of a change today. I finally got a new desk, so that's great. I can finally sit down rather than I was over there in the corner for a little bit, stuck leaning over my kitchen countertop, but I actually got a desk. So now I can actually sit down and enjoy this conversation rather than standing awkwardly. You'll notice that there's a few things on this desk. Mostly, I think the thing that stands out the most is my AWS databases boxes. Just to clarify, I'm in no way sponsored by AWS. They just happened to give it to me as an AWS community builder. It just came with a lot of swag, as you can imagine. A lot of it was great, honestly. I got this really cool throw blanket that's like for DynamoDB. I will say, I don't ever see myself wearing this baseball cap. You'll see me wear the database sweatshirt occasionally here and then because I actually kind of like that. But not everything you get from a swag box is going to be exactly what you want. Okay, you're not even here for me talking about my new desk or the swag that I got from AWS. You guys are here to learn about how I got really lucky, honestly, and made $5,000 in 3 hours. It all started when I was introduced to a small YouTube channel called The Tech Lead. For those who've never watched The Tech Lead, he gives interesting advice about technology, software, programming, YouTube, etc. He's definitely expanded from his original kind of tech focus and talks about a lot of other things, and he's had his fair share of controversies. But despite that, one day I happened to see one of his videos where he was talking about the 7 Habits of Effective Programmers. If that title sounds familiar, it's probably very similar to the book, The 7 Habits of Effective People. And it's a very cliche and kind of clickbaity title that a lot of people use to create content because it stands out and people kind of know what to expect. And since he created a video version and I have a pretty decent Medium following, I figured, I might as well make a written version with that same kind of demeanor and tone that he has, which tends to be somewhere in between sarcastic, but kind of at the same time advice. I think it's always hard to tell. Like if you ever watch The Tech Lead, it's really hard to tell sometimes if he's providing advice or if he's joking. Honestly, it's probably a little bit of both. So, I just decided to kind of imitate that same style and write an article on it. So let's kind of go over that, and I'll show you kind of what I think stuck out a lot about the article, why I think it really did really well, and I think also go over the $5,000 plus at this point and how it's doing today. All right, so let's go over and switch over to my computer. For those of you who don't know, I'm also under Seattle Data Guy on Medium, and I do put out articles to some degree on data science, data engineering, programming, etc. And I've been doing this for a little bit at this point, I think since 2017, but there definitely have been some very standout articles. You'll notice at this point, I'm pretty lackluster in terms of most of my articles are more focused on getting me consulting work and less focused on trying to get clicks on Medium. But let's see, when I was really trying to get clicks, well, how was I doing? And let's see what those kind of articles were getting me, in particular, my $5,000 article. All right, so we've sorted by views and you can kind of see my most popular articles, and we can go into the other ones at some other point. But really, we want to focus on this 7 habits of highly effective programmers. So we're going to look at the actual breakdown as far as kind of how much it was making, as well as kind of what I think stuck out about it. As you can see, I've had it for quite some time. I posted it back here sometime in 2019. So that's, almost coming on 2 years at this point. And it's got over 300,000 views with about $5,000 of income. Again, I wrote this article in about 3 or 4 hours. It was pretty quick. The one thing I do remember is I did kind of hold back on posting it. I think sometimes your best articles are the ones you are least thrilled about for one reason or another. You wonder if it's a little bit too much or if it's going to rub some people the wrong ways. And honestly, this article did. That's probably why it was so effective in many ways. But here, let's break it down. You'll notice that the very first few days, let's see if I can get this highest day. So for the best days, you can see that I was making about $68. What's hard here is Medium kind of changed. You'll notice how it's very blocky before, where they were kind of almost like breaking it down per month. I think if I recall, where they were paying you per month per article. So that's why you'll notice that most of these are in chunks of months, if I recall. It didn't start to switch until a little later. And this was definitely one of those articles that got 2 hits. So, I got this initial hit here in July, and then I got another hit about 6-7 months later, where it got really popular again. I think I reposted it here in Better Programming, and initially I don't remember where I put it. Wow, I didn't even realize how much time people have spent reading this article, but well over 1,000 hours. And that's pretty insane to me that people have spent that much time reading this article, but I guess, again, that's why it made $5,000. And then Medium also gives you some minimal information as far as views by traffic source and views by interest. Of course, most people who are interested in programming, technology, software engineering are the ones that clicked it. A lot of it came from email or direct links, essentially, and only about 64%, which is pretty low. All right, so now let's kind of look at the article, and I'm just going to go over some of my favorite quotes. And my very first line here, everyone but you writes terrible code, was kind of meant to be the very first obvious clue that this article was a joke. Personally, if you don't think that this article is a joke at that line, again, my very first line, I guess I'd be questioning how arrogant you are as a programmer. A point two, I don't think was meant to be as much of a joke. There's like some seriousness here. I obviously do talk about this death march, which I remember hearing back in college where they talk about death march projects being like legitimate things that happen in businesses where you just accidentally start on a project and it's just going nowhere and you're sadly stuck on it. And now how do you get rid of it? That's actually not bad advice. Like being able to find projects that are worthwhile or knowing how to get off it is pretty decent advice. Okay, so point three, avoiding meetings. This was definitely kind of meant as a joke. Obviously, I think most of us as engineers like to avoid meetings, but at the same time, there's some necessity to go to meetings to some degree. Don't no one get mad at me. There is some value in getting on the same page and making sure everyone's communicating, but obviously there's the whole other side where it can become all you do every day and you really struggle to get any actual work done. So it's kind of again that half where I was like kind of joking, like, yeah, don't go to any meetings, they're all pointless. And make sure you save some time to do actual real work. Also, at the very bottom of this article, I did link to the Tech Leads video. Again, I thought he was really funny. So if you guys want to check him out, you can. All right, and with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it inspired you, as you're looking forward to maybe making your first $5,000 article on Medium. Also in the future, maybe I'll make a few other videos on some of the other articles and pieces of content that I've made more than $1,000 on. Do let me know if you like this. Other than that, thank you guys so much and have an amazing day. Bye.